always from the heart of the city, and now on demand 24/7 on the CHFI website. This is the soundtrack to accompany a very special woman. And I'm Don Jackson, around the world on the internet. A few years back, in an interview on CNN's Larry King Live, I learned that the great actor Sidney Poitier was born prematurely. His mother saw a soothsayer who told her that her son would one day walk with kings. Of all the fortune tellers I've ever encountered, this one had it right on the money. This hour, a tribute to a very special woman. Yesterday was Mother's Day, a tribute today. And I'm Don Jackson from iTunes and CHFI.com. Whitney Houston with The Greatest Love of All, and John Lennon and Woman. And I'm Don Jackson from iTunes and CHFI.com. George Bernanos from The Diary of a Country Priest, and published by Image, wrote, and I quote, "Why does our earliest childhood always seem so soft and full of light? Like everybody else, a kid's got plenty of troubles, and he's really so very helpless, quite unarmed against pain and illness. But that very sense of powerlessness is the mainspring of a child's joy. He just leaves it all to his mother. You see, present, past, future, his whole life is caught up in one look. And that look is a smile." Unquote. George Bernanos from The Diary of a Country Priest, published by Image. I'm Don Jackson from iTunes and CHFI.com. Luther Vandross and Dance with My Father, which is also a song about a very special mother. Bette Midler from Beaches, Baby Mine, and Gladys Knight, Forever Yesterday for the Children. And I'm Don Jackson from iTunes and CHFI.com. This is an excerpt from the 2003 edition of The Friendship Book of Francis Gay, and published by D.C. Thompson and Company in London, England. Gay writes, and I quote, "I read a touching story one day told by a caring mother. Her daughter, who had left home, was going through a stressful time at work. One day, the daughter had gone to her mother's house, made herself a cup of tea, then helped herself to a generous spray of expensive perfume. Later, she rang to apologize, saying, 'I was in such a state. I just needed a whiff of my mom. It always makes me feel better.' What a comfort a mother is. Even a whiff of one makes you feel good. By the way, when the daughter went backpacking around Australia, her mother discovered a discarded shirt and found consolation for the separation by picking it up and hugging it. There's the meaning of true love. When a simple suggestion, a mere whiff, can bring two hearts closer together. Unquote. An excerpt from the 03 edition of The Friendship Book of Francis Gay, published by D.C. Thompson and Company. Alice E. Allen in My Mother's Garden wrote, and I quote, "Sweet as the breath of roses blown, the fragrance of her life." Unquote. Some of these readings this hour will be familiar and some will be new, but the fragrance of her life remains the same. A tribute to mothers past, present, and future this hour. I'm Don Jackson from iTunes and CHFI.com. Amy Sky and I Will Take Care of You, and Martina McBride, In My Daughter's Eyes. I'm Don Jackson from iTunes and CHFI.com. W.H. Hudson wrote, and I quote, "A mother's love for the child of her body differs essentially from all other affections and burns with so steady and clear a flame that it appears like the one unchangeable thing in this earthly, mutable life, so that when she is no longer present, it is still a light to our steps and a consolation." The words of W.H. Hudson. I'm Don Jackson from iTunes and CHFI.com. Sting in Fields of Gold, and Paul Anka with Anthea Anka, and Do I Love You. I'm Don Jackson from iTunes and CHFI.com. Round the idea of one's mother, the man of mine clings with fond affection. It is the first thought stamped upon our infant hearts, when yet soft and capable to receiving the most profound impressions. And all the after feelings of the world are more or less light in comparison. I do not know that even in our old age, we do not look back to that feeling as the sweetest we have ever known through life. Charles Dickens in All Year Round. And Pearl S. Buck wrote, and I quote, "My first vivid memory is when first I looked into her face and she looked into mine. That I do remember, and that exchanging look I have carried with me all my life. We recognized each other. I was her child, and she was my mother. What I inherited from my mother is inside me. I love people too easily, as she did. For this gift of loving, I thank my beloved mother." The words of Pearl S. Buck. And I'm Don Jackson from iTunes and CHFI.com. Celine Dion with Andrea Bocelli and The Prayer, and Mark Cohn with The Things We've Handed Down. And I'm Don Jackson from iTunes and CHFI.com. And finally, this hour, this is called Grandmother and I. It was written by Laura Secord Giles and included in the April 1970 issue of Chatelaine magazine. And I quote, white hair fanned into the whiteness of a pillow, hardly dented by her weight. Pearl translucent cheeks pulled tight, round once flowered lips, now mute. How sad, they said. She might as well be dead. I was 16, and their words pulled my anger tight, so that I stepped and shielded her from them. Then, bending down to kiss the stillness of her, I saw her eyes and knew she wanted me. When they had gone clip-clopping noisily as if she were not there, I talked with her. We found a language, she and I, that came from only God knows where. Slowly, she would blink the answers to my small chatterings. It was our secret, and we played the game each day until one night I sensed she wanted even more from me. Anxiously, I searched for her and guessed a million memories. And then, still trying, I called her Sarah. It was her name. Twice, the lazy eyelashes rose and fell, our code for yes. And then they dropped. Forever. Grandmother and I by Laura Secord Giles. From the April 1970 issue of Chatelaine. Good night, sweet dreams. I'm Don Jackson.